Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, so I am believing that I have completed the 14 gods of Genesis, exploring the characteristics, and we have now found that the God who made, in fact, what I want to do is consolidate all these gods and look at all their characteristics, and for us to really see how the story that we have been fed of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, where their actions were that which made us responsible or for sin, or made them responsible for mankind's sin. So that would be very interesting to do, to really look at all these aspects. But the reason that we did this as well is to remind ourselves of Mother Eve's calling. Mother Eve's calling is to teach us all this wisdom, to teach us all this wisdom so that we can be equipped enough to say, yes, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So that's what Mother Eve is calling us. And because Mother Eve had given the Latins to the gods, now this is actually, so these are the gods on here, but I have a list with the gods of the Latins, which I feel I'm going to have to present in another video. So we had the God who moved, we had the God who said, let's do this here. So these are the 14 gods of Genesis. So the God who moved, and the God who said, which is Mother Eve, the God who saw. Now the God who saw, I was tempted to do another video on simply that the letter, the W, to me speaks such volume. Of course, the W is the 3, it is the M, it is the E, and it is the W, as I say. So it has all these aspects to it. Yeah. Then we have the God who divided. That's what the W reminds me of. Hair. Oh, I could feel my hair come undone. Okay, so divided, the God who called, the God who formed, the God who caused, the God who set, the God who ended, the God who breathed, the God who blessed, the God who planted, the God who made, and the God who created, which is where we begin in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 1. Chapter 1 verse 1, yes. So we can see, of course, the God who made, the word made, for instance, we have name, and we have the amen, which is what we utter all the time. Now, Mother Eve has given us the insight that the God who made was really Adam. Adam is the God who made. So every time we utter this prayer and we say amen, we are praying to Adam, the God of Adam, right there, or the God who made, right there. Because the made here is actually the name. You can see the word me is also here. Me is also there, but made is actually name. And we also use amen, amen. So it's a man. It's like a species of being, like you could say a group or a house. It's a man right here. Okay. And we include ourselves here because me is in man. Okay. And so we have seen with all the other gods, we have seen that it's got the ant in the middle. The God who planted, I felt, was quite interesting, because that's what we are about now, planting. The God who blessed, the blessing has been there where we have extracted and extracted what is good from what isn't, or what is useful, or from what isn't, because the word less is inclusive here in the word bless. Okay, and the word breathe was so interesting that we have the word earth, earth, we have the word heart in breathe. So these are fundamental attributes and functions of the gods, just for example. We can see that there. And so we can see that all those things were already there, particularly when it said, and God breathed in man's nostrils and he became a living. The word living actually has, you could say, has Eve in it right there, because of course it's L-I-V-I-N-G, but we could see that how the I, of course this is how it's we learn. There are times you have to change the E and put an I for how I remember writing when you have ing in a word. So it's even, so it's like live, L-I-V-E, but living. So this is, so man became a live in. This is what we really want to be expressing. Man was a live-in or alive in. But of course we have learned from how I remember to make this one word, it's L-I-V, because that would be, we could say like Eve, I-V-E again. And of course that I would have had the same procedure followed by the L here. So it would have been an Eve in. Eve in, but the L has been there as this word, letter of life, or the liver that gives it, that raises it. It's all that raises, that's the yeast, we could say. It has one motion, two directions, and 3 points. So we can see that there is a lot to it. That's why Mother Eve's first letter is the L. L, when she says let there be life. Okay, so we have living, L-I-V-I-N, and there's the G. The G, of course, also has like an E upside down in it, so sort of thing. Okay, so that's what it's about. Live in, living. Okay, and so we can see Mother Eve is there. Now, so there are 2 ways we could see these prayers also go. I say prayers when we say amen. We also know that at the end of certain psalms as well, when we say forever, forever, E-V-E-R, forever and ever, E-V-E-R. So we can see there we are acknowledging Mother Eve. We are acknowledging Mother Eve in these. So it's important that we become conscious whenever we use the word like whenever or never or ever, we are calling on the energy of Mother Eve. Okay. And as we learn as well, when we use the word forever, we are of the notion or of the understanding that we are talking about an everlasting process, forever, endless. And this is where we are calling on Mother Eve's nature right there. And we have not been conscious about this. And Mother Eve wants us to understand the magnitude of the power of the name that's in the name, or in the function, or of the function, we should say, of Mother Eve. The Eve, everything, the Eve is so concentrated. And that's why, for instance, that's why, as I said with the L before, where we had live or life, that would be the yeast that gives it rise, because it has been that concentrated. So I hope you have enjoyed this. If you like this, click the like button and share. And of course, by sharing, we are being more conscious about the qualities of that which we will be planting. Thank you. Let there be light, and there was light.